I was talking to this chief customer officer and then chief marketing officer, and it was two different calls, same groups of people. And I was called them, and I didn't know what I was doing. I kept referring to sales as wild animals, and they kept like, they kind of are, man. They're wild animals. Anyway,
Well, and the difference is they're thinking about the quarter, they're thinking about mid-year, and they're thinking about in totality for the year what quota that they have to hit. That's not to say marketing's not, but marketing is 2-3 years out. We're building future pipeline for the organization. And I like to say, Jeremy, that today's brand is tomorrow's demand. And so you got to make sure that you continue to build up your brand, because that's going to be important for when somebody is in market looking for a solution that you have to provide. And so, when we become too heavily weighted towards supporting sales on demand gen, then what tends to get cut is the brand building and the positioning work that's going to set you up to succeed in year 2, year 3. And so I feel like I'm constantly hitting that, beating that drum in terms of you can't cut the long term, because then you won't have your future there. So what is the role of marketing? I think it's a couple of things. One is to really understand the marketplace and bring those insights so that you're constantly thinking about what are the requirements for your product that's going to meet a need for a customer. Whether they realize that they have that need or not, it will come up. I think it's making sure that you understand who are going to be your best users and who is really your ideal client profile. I think sometimes we just go after the entire marketplace without really looking at certain attributes that would make somebody a successful customer of yours. Because not everyone should be a customer of your technology, because they may not get the value and utility out of it that you're going to need in order to sell other customers on it. But we have to have a really, really good pulse on it and be out ahead of sales and understanding that. And that's where the partnership with product is really important. This is why, even at DexCare, my first strategic hire was bringing in product marketing.
Yep.
Product marketing. And it is one of those things that is one of the most difficult, or I would say that people have a very deep lack of understanding as to what product marketing does. They're not just creating sales enablement content. They actually are looking at what are the requirements, what are customers saying, how do we feed that back, how do we go out and make sure that we're constantly knowing what our competitors are doing. Not that you want to get sidetracked by that necessarily, and then how do you really effectively position your solution? There's got to be really good product market fit. And they help ensure that there is. And how do you properly position that? Because we know, even in healthcare, when I came back after 5 years of being out of it, I'm like, who are all of these new players, these new market entrants? The sheer volume of technology companies that are new entrants. I don't have anything to substantiate this, but I would say it's like threefold increase. But you're constantly having to break through, because we all sound kind of similar in what we position. And so unless you really have that dialed in, it makes it difficult, because the one thing that we're lacking right now is clarity as to what all of these different companies are doing and providing. That's product marketing. And that's really important, because if you don't have that dialed in, then downstream into your marketing teams and your sales teams are going to make it very difficult for them to be successful in breaking through all of the noise on that. So that's one. And then, of course, you want to make sure that not all channels are created equal. And so you need to make sure that you know where your buyers are and where they go to get information. And in healthcare, it is particularly interesting, because I think this is where I go back to my old school ways. And that is simply, they talk to each other.